Listen up. At 6:47 a.m. on a drizzly Tuesday, some HOA busybody made a boneheaded call that cost her everything. $2.3 million in fallout and 8 long years behind federal bars. It kicked off with a snip of those bolt cutters on the wrong damn ride. Clang. That sharp, gut-wrenching snap ripped through the quiet suburb like a thunderclap, turning Victoria Langford Hayes from neighborhood queen to full-blown federal screw-up in under 30 seconds flat. While I was halfway across the world, knee-deep in the grit of taking down smuggling rings, this self-crowned ruler decided my beat-up ride was cramping her perfect lawn vibes. What she couldn't wrap her head around. That Jeep was task force gear, stuffed with $347,000 in top-secret spy tech, and I'm the Fed who hunts down syndicates for a living. She figured she was just hauling off some grunt's junker. Nah, she pulled off stunts that'd make kingpins sweat. What would you do if some nosy tyrant trashed your stuff while you were out there bleeding for this country? Hit me with a thumbs-up emoji and shout out where you're tuning in from. Let's count the real ones out there. My name's Alex Hawk Thompson, and 3 months back, I figured scoring my Nana's old place would be the win of a lifetime. God, was I off base. Evergreen Meadows, think cookie-cutter cookie hell, where every roof's that same bland taupe. Sprinklers whisper on timers like they're gossiping, and the fake pine scent can't drown out the reek of superiority complexes. HOA fees? $150 a month for standards. Code for shelling out cash so one control freak can turn your dream spot into a nightmare. I'm National Guard CID, fresh off the boat into a joint-fed narcotics squad. Nana Elena's bungalow was my anchor. Rent it out while I'm gone, stack some stability, pay back the rock who pulled me through after my folks got taken in a wreck when I was just a scared kid. That place? It still carries her scent. Fresh cornbread and sage, every warped plank whispering lessons from her endless patience. "Mijo," she'd murmur, eyes fierce with that quiet fire. "You face down the mean ones, but you do it with heart, not hate." Then came Victoria Langford Hayes. Envision a 52-year-old property hawk in her pearl-white Escalade, ruler in hand for lawn audits like it's the damn Olympics. 7 years lording over the HOA had morphed her into a pint-sized despot. Her hubby, Edward, perches on the town board, feeding her this god complex. This lady? She slaps fines for holiday bulbs lingering past New Year's. 2 weeks into my stint abroad, dodging shadows in the dust, the email slams in. Violation alert. Unapproved work rig parked. My Fed-issue Jeep, plastered with agency plates, was suddenly a blight in her eyes. Vic's twisted read on the rules? No job trucks in driveways. What escaped her notice? That rig's packed with $200,000 in cartel-busting wizardry. Beacons, scramblers, ghost cams, all Uncle Sam's, needing brass sign-off to budge an inch. The slap? $50 daily, piling up as I'm hunkered in foxholes. My kid, sis, Sophia, heart of gold elementary whiz, tried talking sense to this ice queen. She rolls up, flashes my deployment papers, even floats, tarping the thing. "Rules are rules," Vic hisses, eyeing Soph like roadkill. "If your brother's too slack for basics, maybe this hood's not your speed." That call from Soph? It guts me still, her words fracturing over the line from Nana's scarred oak table. "Hawk," she threatened a lien on the house, said Ed's got pull at the district, backing you could tank my gig. Soph sniffed out the rot. The Parkers, he's a core leatherneck, dinged for his bike's rumble. Emily Torres, sailor's bride with hubs away, slapped for tacky yard art. Every service fam in Evergreen was in the crosshairs. But the gut punch? Vic's infractions were straight-up inventions. Soph unearthed the true covenants in Nana's yellowed stack from '89. Uncle Sam's rides? Exempt as hell, first responders, troops, badges, all shielded. Vic was cooking bylaws on the fly, banking on folks too worn or wary to dig. The block buzzed with fence-line mutters, but no one's piping up. Vic had brewed a brew of dread. Challenge her, and you're next. Ed's ties made pushback feel like punching fog. That's when it hit me like a frag. This ain't about curb appeal. It's a targeted hit on service kin by a crooked board with hall passes from the suits. Sand gritting my teeth, mid-call with Soph, diesel tang and panic sweat in 110-degree blaze. Nana's echo drilling deep. Face 'em right, mijo. Out there, grinding to starve the streets of poison, some pampered potentates scheming to gut my bloodline with bogus bills and mind games. Vic Langford Hayes had picked a scrap with the Fed who carves up crews, and her petty empire was my new bullseye. Vic's follow-up dropped 48 hours on pure cul-de-sac carnage. Certified mail thuds into Soph's box. Yank that heap now, or it's towed in 24. Yeah, 24, not a mercy 48. This witch was gunning for Fed iron while I'm ghosts in the wire. Copy to Ed's office and the badges, ranting urgent hazards and blight bombs. All smoke, but dressed in legalese to cow you. Soph dials from Nana's nook, panic threading her tone over the board's familiar groan. Hawk, a wrecker's prowling the circle. Drivers eyeballing your Jeep like fresh meat. Nana's cinnamon ghosts couldn't chase the chill in her breath. Mindfuck HOA edition. That's when I swung back. First blood. I pinged JAG, those shark attorneys who chew rights abuses like gum. Lieutenant Colonel Maria Reyes scans my file, her calm cracking to holy hellfire. Thompson, this harpy's eyeing Fed enforcement kit. That's no parking ticket. That's a felony flag. Quick fact, SCRA ain't just evictions. It walls off service folks' turf from meddlers. But Prime Cut? My Jeep's no joyride? It's DC's toolbox. Reyes blasts a beef to Post HQ, lighting a Fed military probe fuse. Vic's ego trip? Now, pinging brass with real teeth. But the twist that twisted the knife? Soph raids Nana's archives, and in 20 minutes, jackpot. Vic's poison pen to zoning brass, nixing GI aid in Evergreen 'cause short-term soldiers slack on routes. Plain, she'd been blackballing badges for years. Crinkled sheets shredding under Soph's grip as she snaps pics, her gasp slicing the static. Hawk, she's been purging every service soul here. The Parkers tagged for kiddos' trike clutter. The Washingtons? Noise beef over a fussy infant's wails. No fluke, this was blueprint bigotry, propped by Ed's clout. See? Ed's got a fat condo flip brewing, needing HOA nods for rezones. Service rigs and hopscotch tours? Kills the elite enclave pitch. Soph's classroom smarts fired up. She webs the hits, stacking docs like ammo. Bogus tags, menace mail, bully plays, she's unwittingly forging a Fed bias bomb. But Vic ramps it, breaching a line that'd scar her soul. Heels stabbing pavement echo through Soph's feed as Vic inspects Nana's spread, snapping my Jeep like a perp walk, taping buffers with her gadget. Service don't buy rule breaks, she sneers at Soph, that superior snarl begging a reality check. Maybe your crew's better off elsewhere. Dog whistle for not our sort. My repost? Flip the Jeep's ghosts, routine Fed tracers and cams. Gold, Vic's trespassed 17 times in 72 hours. Paparazziing agency gear, sans clearance. That's not nosy, that's spy adjacent. When my lead, Lieutenant Elena Vasquez, catches wind of this lawn lady scoping narco bait and squeezing badges, her barks all bite. Thompson, how messy you want her world. The Feds were about to school Vic Langford Hayes on fallout she never clocked. Vic's panic play crested 3 days post-JAG, and it gutted my kin near to breaking. She rolls out elite guard patrols for compliance checks. 2 goons in a unmarked Tahoe, clocking my Jeep hourly like it's a nuke. But the venom? What they whispered to the block? Soph rings sobbing over patchy satlink from my sand-swept hole. Hawk, they're branding you a hazard, that your rig's a threat vector. Mrs. Riley won't glance her way now, Soph's hitches blending with outpost gusts carved ice in my ribs. These scum were shredding our name while I couldn't shield 'em. My swing? Scalpel sharp, but 7,000 miles off. Calls rationed like water. I loop Vasquez next slot, spilling how rent-a-cops are ghosting Fed Tech. Her curveball, tricky, Thompson. If we storm, we feed their danger yarn. Let 'em knot their noose. The hook? I tap the Jeep's eyes. Fed rides pack more eyes than a precinct. PIRS, thermals, geolocks, auto snaps in 15 feet. Clips drop a chill. Vic ain't logging tickets. At 1:52 a.m., she's flash-peering cabs, framing dash guts, jiggling doors, hunting Fed's secrets. Worse, she's got backup. Feeds show her flagging kit to guards, snapping comms close-ups. The hood's fracturing, Soph footing the bill. School moms grill if a risk kin should mold minds. Her boss hauls her for concerns chats. Chalk haze and dread lace her next line. Hawk, they're gutting my job. Vic fed PTA that badges breed chaos and leaks. She's weaponizing my work. That's when the veil rips. This ain't turf beef. They're dismantling my blood, me chained afar. Helpless grit tastes like grit and fury in a SIGINT shack. War hums mocking as some home front hack unravels my sis. Vic's thugs amp it, ambushing Soph at the mart. Head goon, washed-up badge with a badge fetish, pens her by the cart. Miss, we gotta chat your bros ops, he looms, boxing her Civic. That ride's got gear that could spook the block. Spill on his runs from here. Soph, teacher steel shining, fires up record. You calling my brother, out there guarding us all, a menace to moms and tots? Her quiver masked iron I heard clear. He crowds. Badges haul baggage home. Shell shock, heat, Snoop toys. Just safeguarding the peace. Smearing me as ticking vet. Textbook service shade in safety drag. But Soph's tape? Magic. Goon cops to probing my gear. That's Fed spy beef, exhibit prime. My hook lands via shadows, Vic missed. Vasquez dings elites Fed creds board. Guards ghosting classifieds? Their op crumbles overnight, firm now in Fed crosshairs for cloak games. Vic's muscle melt leaves her feral. She spams gripes to every badge house. Cops, hooks, inspectors, even pest patrol, crafting her Fed fixation trail. The clash cranks, me overseas as my crew bleeds. But Vic lit fuses, hauling the Fed hammer to her picket fence palace. Vic's frenzy peaked at 6:47 a.m. that Tuesday. Soph's cam nabbing every badge-busting blunder in crisp betrayal. That clang? It'll haunt me eternal. Snap, snap, snap. Cutters gnawing chain, each bite booming through dawn hush like blasts. Soph's buzz yanks me from rack in my canvas crypt, 7,000 miles distant. Her shriek pure terror. Hawk, she's snipping your chain. Bolt cutters, flatbed, she's jacking your Jeep now. Via Soph's feed, I Vic Langford Hayes, stacking Fed felonies live. Bedhead wild, robe flapping. She'd cashed out budget Bob's haul. No forms, just green, and bossed 'em to hoist agency assets. Driver clocks plates, peels like it's cursed. Ma'am, Fed stamps all over. No payday's worth that heat. It's derelict, Vic wails, froth-flecking lips, dawn light cruel. HOA chief here, legal yank on violations. That yowl, triple-taped, theft case crown jewel. My rip? Lightning Fed? I blast Vasquez on red line, green-lighting Fed kit snatch protocols. Minutes tick, marshals roll hot to nanas, but the poetry? Jeep's stealth geo and locks autolog all. Fed haulers pack deadmans, tails, cams hot on tamper. Vic's chop trips NatSec webs pinging DHS grids over state lines. Soph holds feed as Vic fumbles the kill shot. Hauler bolts, rubber screaming retreat. She swaps gate deadbolts, caging my fed bird, stalling badges. He wants his toy tank? File HOA forms. She bays at Soph, jangling keys like a mad majordomo. Duty don't trump decorum. Rage boils helpless as this spoiled specter swipes DCs while my sis films the frenzy. Fuel stink and fright brine bleed through the line. Pro tip: Fed wheels auto-wake on metal. Chops or shifts flag HS chains. Geo pings, strike teams. Local lift? Nah, classified grab with terror ups. Lesson: pinch Fed enforcer rides. You trip NatSec sirens and Fed swarms. It's not pinch, it's peril. The block revolt sparked when Mrs. Riley peeped Vic's spectacle from her lace-curtained perch. This steel-spined granny, who'd outlasted the crash and mourned 3 GI boys, wasn't watching a badge widow get mauled. She rings every vet, every soul in Evergreen, every quiet sufferer under Vic's boot. By 10 sharp, Nana's besieged by a flesh wall guarding Fed steel. Ends now, booms Frank Parker, 74, Mekong survivor whose boy logged 4 sandbox spins. Want that lad's wheels? Breach 35 yanks first. Soph's ring rebounds strong, buoyed by kin solidarity swelling my eyes. Hawk, it's a fortress. Parker's waving old glory. Mrs. Riley's brewing for the line. They ain't budging. But Vic's clapback? Backyard blitzkrieg at max. She floods lines with panic dispatches, badges on militia, watch to 5-0, hooks on boom risks from my kit, inspectors on crowd crimes, pest squad on guard dogs as maulers, each fib, Fed sin stack, false flags on badges and feds, hefty hooks under a dozen codes. The snap? Feds hit Evergreen, find Vic's gate jam barring their swiped goods. Justice block. Deputy Kara Ruiz, hard-ass Fed who'd cuffed narcos and homegrowns, eyes the bar and shifts to wolf mode. Lady, you've jammed Feds chasing gov theft. Crack it or stack charges. Vic's doom quip, Feds got no say in my turf. Bathrobe standoff with the Union. Checkmate. I wheels down 72 ticks later, dust and pulse still thick, to Soph at Nana's slab amid docks to fell regimes. But the whiff? Not Elena's sage or dough. It's dread and grit baked into beams while I ghosted. Hawk, peep this pre-Fed's roll, Soph breathes, shakes betraying as she fans files on Elena's scarred pine. I cracked the vault. Cream packs 5 years HOA guts. Ledgers, logs, letters, nabbed via her classroom web. But the chiller? Ink tying Langford builds to Summit devs, predating my ink on Nana's deed. Header, Evergreen buyout blueprint, wave 2. Hawk, it ain't scattershot on badges. Soph hushes, sleuth fire in her gaze. They're purging for a mega flip. Sheets flake under my thumbs as details burn. Ed's crew hawked 52 pads to a coast-to-coast dev for high-rises. Turf they didn't hold. Nana's prime. Scan the hit sheet. Soph nods to a roster fueling my swing. Every badge clan, Silver Fox, Fighter Frail, all queued for ease out. Parkers, Tauruses, Elena, all pawns in a price crush plot. But the gut twist? Vic forged the fines. Soph hauls the 89 originals, not Vic's fakes. Badge rides? Not greenlit. Ironclad under Fed mandates. Hawk, she spun yarn rules. Betting fear or fog kept checks at bay. Soph steals. Deeper dive. Ledger's leak graft. $192,000 HOA cash siphoned to Ed shop via ghost gigs and phantom fixes. Bite. HOA cash reroutes to Kinbiz sans nod. Fed post-fraud if mailhop states. Ryko bites when patterns ping commerce webs. Morale. HOA heists on multipads. Badge hunts. Fed mob rap with 20-plus bids. Syndicate turf. Suburb skin. Soph's quake sweat blends resolve in the nook as she drops the dagger. Hawk, I fear they broke her. She flashes Elena's swan song slaps. Upkeep beefs, Suit threats to a bedbound soul gasping last. Fake fights spiked her pressure. Aides noted her pleas if we'd hold the hearth. Elena's rasp haunts. Mijo, guard our nest. I'd chalked it medfog. Warning shot. Soph's arc sealed. No meek mentor mauled by manor moms. Fury forged sentinel with proof and payback pulse. Hawk, forgot the Jeep. This is syndicate in suburb drag. They've gutted clans for coin. Power flipped. Not tilted. Nuked. Fed DA's heir, a Rico feast. Scams, plots, rights rips, gray grind. But the core fire? I wasn't reclaiming rims. Avenging Elena's echo, every shattered home they hit. The brawl went bone deep, Vic blind. The ops den bloomed in Nana's den in 48, irony thick as Elena's old telenovela rants. We schemed suburb sleaze doom where she'd cursed screen baddies. Soph? Reborn? Not the quaking coach, but chess lord linking feds, vet vines, rage-ready block, whiff of fed grind, char brew, strain slick, law stacks, axed Elena's sage glow for good. Lieutenant Vasquez lands with twin DAs and ordnance to oust oligarchs. Adia Laura Kim strews Soph's haul over every flat, awe edging her nod. Thompson, I've nailed cartel wash-ops with thinner files. Then she drops the nexus my badge boot camp burned in. Rico, racketeer web law, figured mob and mule kings. Wrong. When manor moms run rights, rips and rip-offs over borders, they're fed felon firms. Soph's stack sketches the web, graft, cons, bias blasts, synced via Ed's bench and Vic's veil. Commerce crossed via Ed's dev dimes, fed turf. The den crew? Rebel rally vibe. Frank Parker packs his nom net, 14 survivors scorning suburb slime. Mrs. Riley chips spy shots. Vic Ed huddles in club crypts. Soph's guild gifts unthought gold. Spin smarts. Schoolers sell tough truths to tribe kin, prime to prop badges versus bias. Soph's rise in timber, once kid sis hush, now herds feds, and folks where Elena crooned corridos. Seeing her steer suits and street made chestnuts unwind. Coin war hit Soph soul deep, sleepless ledger laps, spotting cheats like kid cribs. The skim? Not Nick. Trust treason, stinging her guide gut. Hawk, recall Ma's budget battles here? Soph taps fraud charts tracing $192,000 bleed. She drilled. Clan Cash grabs rank worst. Auditor Lisa Grant unpacks Ed's grift. Pre-flip pads to outsider ops, force lowball yields. Echoed my fed fraud drills. Tease turf tomorrow. Bag bucks today. Rig the yield. Soph snagged Ed Summit mails plotting purge paces on unowned earth. Violation vibe raw. They'd eyed Elena's pre-grave. Our ghost grid fused my drill smarts with hood heart. Stashed cams, tag teams, code chats, Riley's pain, TOC, Parker's shed, gear vault, Soph's pad, wire nest, oust vote blueprint from her poll lessons. Democracy demands doers, she'd preach, now proof. Folks miss, HOA heaves need 25 to 35% ink for polls. Soph's stoop sprint unmasks Vic's vice. Washington's race raps logged. Parker's vet venom filed. Silver Kowalski's fined for breather buzz. In 72, Soph inks 71% for board boot. Triumph Tang mixes with my gear's grit cling. Spin play taps Soph's link web. Badge bash tails blaze vet nets, sparking hill heat. 4 reps crave fed dumps on HOA hits. Fraud find? Pure nose. Soph spots Vic's Jeep, wreck claims, ghost gashes. My fed lore, insure scams, DA candy, nail-proof, hard hits. Rights lawyers latch post-bias scan, badge hunts breach fed home laws. Gray grind on Elena, multi-mill shields. Soph's interim HOA crown? Roar vote at crisis caucus. Prime move, lock tills for fed fish. Watching her gavel the hall where Vic voiced venom. Ice justice. Stakes soared past payback. Blueprint for busting HOA rot. Shielding badges. Showing squads smash syndicates. But Vic Ed clueless the web wove tight. Vic's frenzy flipped felon at 3:27 a.m. Soph's night vision nabbing her torching HOA guts by Elena's gear bin. Bite of ash and strike stink wafts Soph's pain. Dread do her norm now. She's crouched cauldron-style over a bin, stuffing sheets to blaze with quakes. Hawk, she's torching proof in our plot, Soph hisses from her sill as Vic fumbles fire in black. Burning books, mid-fed glare. My hush build spanned weeks. Fed eyes logged her every flail, every panic sin. But this manor maven torching her trail? Verse vicious. But Vic's wreck ratcheted to kin-kill that lit my hunter hindbrain. Soph wakes to her, a cord gutted. Quads knifed. Service trash, scrawled crimson on glass. Glass grind under Soph's steps as she scopes chills my core to calc. Helpless heat? Deploy deja. Foes farming the frail you can't front. But no sand trap. This suburb siege on blood. My parry? Pro bliss. Vasquez dials 1, flips the board. Fed shield squad for Soph. Key witnesses. Stealth suits. Jog blends. Cafe ghosts. Vic's watch? Watched by warrant wolves. Hood heart? Stunner? Frank Rally's vet watches killing Vic's night raids. Boot thuds at 0200. New lullaby? Riley's galley? Ops oasis? Rosters over snaps and spite spice. But Ed's flop unearths slime deeper. Soph cracks council tapes. Ed's strong arms chief to shelve badge gripes. His smug snarl via Soph's deck snaps my fed frame. Academy axiom, plot packs. Suits wielding bench to rights rend, fed rights ring. Ed not enabler. Engine, bench bent to bias. These badges drag drama. Ed's tape oozes privilege. Rides, rotes, risks, tank turf tone. That clip? Plot case, kingpin. Vic's graft grab taped on fed wire. She corners Soph at shops, wad fat with 50s, her posh pong failing over flop sweat. $55,000 for your fold, Vic stammers, shoving the sack. Badges fit rougher realms. Grab. Get a grid for your grind. Soph, mentor metal, rolls tape as Fed's ghost from ghost cars. My badge Bible. Witness woo, 5-year floor. But Vic don't halt at Fed felons. She floats Fed fold via skim-sourced sleuth, peddling green to ghost the badge bind. Fool's fool flush. Feds don't bite bribes, they bag, tape, tack to tombs, sealing decades caged. Ed's allies bolt like blaze bugs. Mayor mutes. Board begs Ed's bench boot. His build biz tanks on state scream sheets. Pricey pomade can't cloak Ed's flop in crunch caucuses. He hijacks hall heat to smear Fed fish, yelling out badge unrest hits home hustles. Each throne twist? Fed logged by pole prowl pros. Soft fields kill calls. Wipers with warnings. Warped mails hissing, oops, claim coaches who snoop. Her fracture on those lines stirs beast guard in my gut. But my meat? Fed fine. Menace on Fed mouths? FBI terror troops. Each shade sourced. Lines, script, bits, rivaling tube forensics. Vic's last lash? Bogus badges claiming Soph's unhinged. Plotting payback on hood heads. Spinning service squads as armed cells in evergreen. False Fed file flags mid-probe. Not town tick. Fed jam with terror tags. Fed weight games grace. Watch Vic self-sink sin by sin as grinders grind graves no bailout builds. Vic's endgame? Full-bore fame, flay unmasking her manor mob true. Hit lands Soph's yard first. Ghost gripes swamp district. She's stoking sedition with anti-suit soldier spin, brewing civvy kid perils. Soph's shatter on that yard call fists my grip. Hawk, career kill, she whispers from void class. Kid chalk now curse. Dads demand discharge. Boss benches on my wild badge web. Then Soph unmasks Vic's hack. Hired Hale and Company, pole polishers post-plunder. Painting me PTSD powder keg hauling heat to hush havens. Lie load lands odd. not Oppo abroad. Kin carved to crater clans, not ops. My hush hall? Month milled, Soph's scribe soul soared past badge briefs. She'd taped every terror twist, tribe hit on our tag. But Smearscope sparks my squad sense. Vic not lone. She'd synced HOA heads in 4 states on badge-bind playbooks for burb bliss. No stray slam, stamp bias, spread states wide. Fed Rights wrote, cross-ink cons on rights, RICO rack, orgs orcas rights rend, mob math.
So hey everyone, if you enjoyed this video, then like, comment, share and subscribe my channel. Thank you.